Good afternoon and welcome to United Sauce and Wingers. My name is Dominic and we've just drawn 0-0 to Leeds United. It's a mixed feelings. The title of the show today is called Ollie Got It Wrong. I want to get your thoughts and understand how you're feeling. Did Ollie get it wrong? Was it down to the players? We've got a good panel coming on as usual to discuss and figure out where we go from here. Is it a European Super League hangover? Just too many, shots of that stupid rubbishness? But has it changed to feel that, it doesn't hurt as much? Because of all the stupidness and coming together as fans and going against the Glazers, it doesn't hurt as much. Or does it hurt for you? Let me know. I want to talk about how you feel. We're going to get the panel. I'm going to have a good time because you know what? Manchester United will be back and they're going to be back because of you. Let's go, baby. Yes, welcome to United Sauce and Wingers. We are back in the game. We've got the main guys in the place. We've got Sean. What up, Sean? We've got Waz is in the building. What up, brother? And we've got my man Adam in the building as well. Guys, how you all feeling?
How you doing, though? You all right?
Mate, I'm feeling all right, man. I'm feeling I don't know. I'm feeling I don't know. I'm trying my best not to go in too much because we've got to concentrate the feeling and vibes at the Glazers. But at the same time, I'm going to analyze a match. It would not be right for me to not analyze a game because we have to look. The Glazers aren't going to be watching any of the big YouTube channels, fan channels. They're probably on a boat, chilling out. I don't know, having mojitos, right? So I think we've got the ability and the chance to talk about the game, and I want to talk about it. Look, the title of the show, everyone, is I believe Ollie got it wrong, and we're gonna debate this today because I really know there's someone with a fresh trim who doesn't believe me that that Ollie got it wrong today. And I want to know Waz's thoughts. I want to know your thoughts, Adam. Did Ollie get it wrong, or was it down to the team just not being clinical enough, not being good enough as individual players? We want to get your thoughts. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Had a nice week off, spend time with my family, obviously putting all the heat with the European Super League, and we're back to talk football. Always comes down to football, never personal. It is football. Yes, Sean does have the fresh trim. This is not a random brother on the stream. This is Sean. Actually, no, it's his twin brother, Deshaun. Deshaun.
Big up, please.
Deshaun, how you doing, bro?
All right.
Guys, let's get straight into it. Let's see what the comments are saying. Chris, congrats to Paul Pogba for 200 games. Yes, big. I'd love him to start a bit earlier and get some, enjoy the 200 games. But we moved. King Jar, yes, decision making of these players are terrible. Passing when they should shoot, shooting when they should pass. Yeah, I think the commentators were like, wow, this was a terrible performance by both teams. That's not good. But is it the hangover? Is it the hangover of the European Super League? Is it because there's no fans? Is it because the players are a little bit like over the season? There's nothing really to play for? Because now, if you think about it, guys, Man City just need to win 2 games. 2 games and it's done. The season's over. Carl Lewis, well, that was depressing, but the Thursday, much more important game. Yeah, I'm really excited about Thursday. I really am. Robbie Hodges, my man, got a feel for Donny. I found it a joke at the time that the lad gets on the pitch. Yes, he came on the 88th or 89th minute, loads of time. Anton, boring games are the norm under Ollie. Wow, well, Jesus. Just boring, nowhere exciting. You could maybe blame it on the past week, but the thing is, we've seen his performances so consistently over the season. We move, though, go again Thursday. You know what? You can see how everybody's feeling. Sean, how are you feeling about this whole situation? Because we've had the big European Super League debacle.
Yeah.
People have had time to calm down now. We had a huge protest yesterday, which was fantastic. It was nice, non-violent, just getting to the point about the Glazers. Sky picked up, which is fantastic. And it felt like the whole football world, whether you're an Arsenal fan, Tottenham fan, whatever, people were coming together for a greater good because we need to get greed, power, and division out of our football club. So that was nice to see. But as we concentrate on the actual game, Sean, how did you feel when what's your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, so firstly, I think obviously it's clear, all fans are united in terms of getting greed and focusing on the good of the game and the future of the game. And that's got to be the central figure. So I think it's great to see that all the fans coming together on that. That's probably the most exciting thing that happened today, really, because the game, there was nothing exciting happening in that match. Pretty dull game, pretty boring game. I was coming to it really excited after the 6-2, thinking, we're going to see a high intensity match. end-to-end football, a bit like the first one. But then the other part of me thought that, well, Bielsa's not going to make the same mistakes that he did in the first game because he's too tactically astute for that. So it was probably wishful thinking to think that we were going to get that. And ultimately, I think what we saw today is, a tactical adjustment from Bielsa. And I think conversely, if you remember going back to the start of the first game when we were having the discussion about Calvin Phillips, and I was saying, what does he actually do? And all of this, and we were having the McTominay, Calvin Phillips debate, and actually Phillips got subbed in half time in that game. But today, I've got to say, he showed me what he's about today. Because for me, he had a phenomenal performance, and he was one of the reasons he shut down all of our attacks, put the clamps on Bruno, conversely to what happened in the first game. And I'm shocked, that Bruno wasn't able to impact the game as much and didn't adapt. But I've got to take my hat off to Calvin Phillips for that performance. And ultimately, I think, we didn't play great, but you have to give credit sometimes to the opposition. And none of the big teams, none of the big six this season have gone to Ellen Road and taken anything more than a point away from there. So it's not like you're going to go to Ellen Road, show up and expect to win. Man City haven't done it. Liverpool haven't done it. Arsenal haven't done it. Nobody's done it. So ultimately, it's disappointing not to win, but in the context of the wider season, it's not a bad point.
Okay, so I feel like you feel like, you know what, it is what it is. It is what it is with everything that's going on, with the track record of Leeds, with the team we have. It is what it is. I take a slightly different opinion, just because it's just my opinion, but I completely see where you're coming from. Guys, again, the title of the show is, for me, Ollie got it wrong. Do you think Ollie got it wrong? Do you think Ollie got it wrong? Or is it a situation where, no, Ollie didn't get it wrong. The players just didn't turn up. It's a hard opposition. We've got the hangover of the European Super League debacle. And you know what? It's just is what it is. We move. Liverpool drew. Some teams are even losing. So are we going a bit too hard on it and we just take the point and concentrate on Europa? How are you feeling, Waz? Talk to me. I'll put you big screen as well, bro. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I feel in the reverse fixture, Leeds were far more open. They obviously learned from that. They're much more conservative today. We saw recently when they played Man City at the Etihad, they were far more conservative as well. So I think Bielsa he's learned from that basically. And I felt today, as just mentioned, that Leeds and the United players. They were like tightly marked. Leeds were going 1-on-1 against United players. Yeah. As with Calvin Phillips, it was obvious that he was tied to Bruno Fernandes. In the reverse fixture, we had McTominay bombing on from midfield. So Calvin Phillips had two players essentially to mark in that game, and that's when McTominay was a free man. I don't think he did that as much today. I didn't feel like McTominay pressed on as much as he did in the reverse fixture. So I thought we could have done better in that aspect. But Leeds pretty much stifled those. There wasn't much chances. There's a few good touches from Greenwood in and around the box, but it was a nothing game really, to be honest.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Guys, tell me what you think. I'm looking at the game and I saw it and I was watching it just like everybody else. And I said to myself, okay, Ollie came out before the game and went live and said, look, I'm resting Pogba. We've got to think about the games coming up. And Dan James performed really well against Leeds last match. That's a warning bell for me. That's a warning bell. If you think Bielsa's not smart enough to change up his tactics in the next game, that's naive. It's naive. You can't think Dan James is going to absolutely tear it up like the previous game. This is why I think Ollie got it wrong. Not only did he underestimate that Bielsa would change it up, and he thought, oh, Dan James played well last time, so he should do well again. I'm sorry, that's Ollie's words for me, okay? Secondly, his subs were so late, it's ridiculous. The subs were so late, he ordered a Subway to a party, right? And everybody left before those flicking sandwiches appeared. Honestly, the subs were so late. You don't bring on Danny Van den Beek at the 88th minute. It's a joke. I think Cavani came on, if I remember, 79th minute or something like that. Cavani. It's not good enough. And the thing about me, it was in our ability to change the game. We could see that Leeds were starting to create gaps near the second half, second period of second half. We could see the game was there to be won. But he waited, and we lost our opportunity to capitalize. Look, I know that the European Super League has taken everybody, it's tired everybody out. It's been horrible what nearly happened to football, a nightmare. But it's still an important season, very important season. And this, wherever we finish, will go into the next season in terms of our confidence, in terms of we still fight for second. If anybody thinks it's a given, well, this just shows you we're not just strong all the way through, and we do have our weaknesses. So for me, Ollie 100% got this wrong. If you're playing to win every game, I'm sorry, Maguire plays every single game of football. Can Pogba not play 2 games in 1 week? I think that's ridiculous. Can who else is this? Can Varney not play 2 games? I know he's been injured, but
no, he can't.
Ollie, but listen to me. Ollie said, you play the players you have, and if you want to win it, you've got to think about the next game. Always think about the next game. Ollie obviously didn't think this game was as important as the Roma game, and that's up to him. He's a manager; he can decide. But for me, the most important game is the next game. So for me, Ollie got it wrong today. I feel like we would have finished off that game if we had better players in those positions. Far too many times, Dan James was basically in the box playing up front with Bruno, and I'm thinking to myself, that's not Dan James's game. Fair enough to get in those positions, but we know you're not good enough in those areas to create. If Bruno was next to Cavani in those positions, more likely than not, something might come of it. It might not be a goal, but something will get used better. We need to make sure that we're maintaining our form and our pressure. And these last, how many games we've got left, boys? Is it 5 or 6? 5?
6, I think.
6 games? In these last 5 or 6 games, we need to keep up the pressure. This is 2 points lost for me, and it's 2 points lost for me because I expect us to maintain it, to keep strong. Like when you get in performances like Luke Shaw, for me, unbelievable. Aaron Wan-Bissaka had a great game. For me, Lindelof was fantastic as well, actually. Henderson had a quiet game. In honesty, he had very steady hands because they did have some long shots, which you never know you can fumble. Harry Maguire, I don't know why we bought him for his attacking ability because he was shocking today in terms of trying to get a goal. But apart from that, we need more up front. We need more quality, and I didn't see that. So it's points lost for me today. Adam, how are you feeling, bro? Talk to me.
Yeah, I thought it was a very, very poor game, and I agree with what you said. And I believe the players are playing worse than what they actually are capable of doing. And I believe just like you said, that Ole got it completely wrong, but he gets it wrong quite often for me. And this is a recurrent theme. You always see the same thing. We play the 4-2-3-1. And I don't believe he understands, or the coaching staff understands how to play the 4-2-3-1, because the way this is not a possession-based system. You don't play possession-based with a 4-2-3-1, because when you have 2 holding midfielders, they face the 2 centre-backs and they form a rectangle or a square. And everyone knows that when you play possession-based football, you need to form triangles. So you have McTominay and Fred, who are not creating enough angles. They're receiving, so the ball from the center half, they are passing it sideways and backwards because they don't have really that much choice. They are not good at passing the ball, but they are put in a position in which they cannot even improve that skill because they have to go sideways. And for example, Bruno is not the best at retaining the ball. He plays in the 10. But when you have the ball and you have McTominay and Fred passing the ball to the number 10, when you are in possession of the ball, the number 10 is under immediate pressure because we have the ball. So the other team is waiting for you. Bruno receives the ball. Greenwood receives the ball. Someone's on their back. They always lose it. And that is not because of Bruno. That's not Mason Greenwood's fault. That's not Fred's fault and not McTominay's fault. We should be able to set up the players in a better way so that we keep the ball better. Bruno loses the ball often and Mason loses the ball often when you are in possession, when they receive it. I cannot blame neither of those 2 players. That comes from the coaching. McTominay and Fred are not good at passing the ball, but we all know it.
Yeah,
and that comes from the coaching staff as well. I was on the show with Rick Friday, Rick the Red. I was on the show with him, and we started to we tried to predict the starting lineup. I told him because Leeds are a pressing, attacking team and they play very high. I told Rick he would play Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood, and Dan James, and then he would stick with Fred and McTominay in midfield to hit them on the break because we need that pace. But if you want to give those players the ball, you need someone to pass it. So at least Matic or Pogba should have played. One of those 2 players should have played. Just so we can at least progress the ball. There are so many things that were wrong that it becomes really, really frustrating to me. Really frustrating.
Bro, I completely agree. Guys, don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're new. Adam, I couldn't agree with you more, bro. I know Sean's going to come here and completely disagree with everything I've said, everything you said.
Dismantle it, bro. Dismantle it.
Yeah, he's just about to because he has to. That's just who he is. But for me, it's a situation where, just as you said, Adam, you've got all these direct attacking players up front with no link in the midfield. Absolutely no link in the midfield because we know what McTominay and Fred offer. We know what it is. We know what they offer. And it seems to, when Ollie wants a sure thing, however we get the performance, however we get it, he'll play those two because he thinks that they are a brick wall and hopefully the up-front strikers can just do the rest. What he didn't understand is that Leeds are not stupid. They're not going to play that gung-ho football that they played last time. We all knew that. Why did Ollie play the same sort of team? Like he played the fast players, Greenwood, Rashford, and Dan James, thinking that we can get on a counter. Leeds aren't that stupid. I didn't even recognize Leeds today. They were unrecognizable because they played in a different way. Their press was unreal. You didn't see them going gung-ho, trying to like absolutely destroy us because the space last time for Scott McTominay was there because Leeds did not change the way they played. They came for us. But knowing that, why wouldn't Ollie change his tactics? It makes no sense to me. And even if you see it's going wrong, this is what gets my nerves. And I try my best to understand this, right? I try my best to understand this. I always try to see the good in what Ollie's doing. He comes, right, and in a few games, he brings on a sub at half-time. I'm like, yes, he's getting better with subs. He's understanding a change is needed. Fantastic. And then he waits for, the 80th minute to bring on Cavani, and then gives Donny van de Beek 89th minute. Are you joking me? Are you actually joking?
Right.
That is not good enough. It's not good enough.
Dom.
It's not good enough. And here we go. We've got Mr. Sean here try and debunk everything we said that we're audience. Go on, Sean. Have your time.
But Dom, all right.
Here we go. Here we go.
This I feel what you've done is when you analyze Ollie, it's like you want to always want to focus on the negatives and pick out the negatives which people are going to jump on, right? So the first thing you're leading on is late substitutions, right? And that's one of the things that's a gripe for you. But we spoke about this last week on the last show. I sent you the stats. We got to stop talking about Ollie's substitutions because Ollie's substitutions have made the most impact out of any other league in any other manager in the league. So he clearly knows what his substitutions are. He clearly knows what he's doing when he's making the subs because I haven't got the exact numbers, but I sent it to you. We didn't have a show on Monday in the end, but I think it's something like 24 points have been won from Ollie's substitutions, more than any other manager, more than Klopp, Guardiola.
All right, so
no one even comes close. So how can the fans continually criticize his substitutions?
Sure, listen to me.
When they're making such an impact.
No, but bro, on that basis, you can also say that maybe he's not starting the right team.
But that's not the point I'm making here. I agree with that. That's a separate point. But what I'm saying is, no. But you're always getting on him saying his substitutions are poor, his substitutions are late. But whatever subs he's making, they are making an impact more than anybody else.
To rectify the mistake in the first place.
But forget that, because that's in the past. He's made a mistake. He started poor substitution. But you can't then criticize him for fixing it.
But bro, that's like
you can't then. If you've made a mistake, okay, fair enough. But then you can't doubly criticize him when he's actually fixing the mistakes that he's made in the first place.
In
that point, 1 second, and I'll bring him back.
Okay, but then I'm gonna come to another point. Hold on, no, Dom. Let me make another one, and let you respond.
On this point, right?
All right, go on.
On your basis of what you're saying, Sean, that means then I should start. If I'm Ollie, I'm gonna start every wrong player. I've got 5 subs sometimes, right? I'm gonna start 5 wrong players. And then what I'll do, I'll bring them on as subs so I can then I look like I make really good subs. That's your basis then. I should start 5 players that I know will play rubbish, don't fit the system, play about position. And when I bring on the right 5 subs, then I'm a bad man because I brought on the right one and make a difference. That doesn't make sense.
No, what my point is,
that makes no sense.
You cannot criticize Ollie's substitutions, but Ollie's substitutions are making the most impact. Again, you want me to go? But that's not the point. Whether he start, okay, then you can criticize his starting lineup. You can criticize his starting lineups, but you can't criticize him for making poor subs.
All right. So you think bringing Donny van de Beek on for 88 on the 88th minute is strong?
All right. Let's move on because that point's done. Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on because that point's done. Right.
Adam, you had a point. Adam had a point. One second. Adam, what's your point?
Just quickly before you continue, Sean. Yeah, you might come to me with that stat that his subs had the more impact of out of all the managers in the league, but we watch the games and the subs are poor, regardless of the outcome of that.
They're not poor. If they're scoring goals and changing games and winning points, how are they poor?
No, the substitution, they don't make no sense quite often because you might.
No. Answer. Hold on, Adam. If they're scoring goals, making an impact and winning us points, how are they poor substitutions?
How are they poor? I believe they are poor substitutions because I'm telling you, we are watching the games. For example, he brought on Marcus Rashford in the Champions League. He scored that hat trick. That comes in that. And there are so many things like that you can just put that the subs are good results or good subs. But at the end of the day, we watch the games. Donny van de Beek coming on is a poor sub. Coming on Solid is a poor sub. And regardless of other good subs he made, if you take it as a whole, some of the substitutions he made won us games and got us points. And most of the other subs are not good enough. How many points did we lose because of the subs? Because instead of taking Rashford up front and keeping Martial up front, who's the only one who can hold the ball,
I'll tell you,
ended up conceding a goal. You can take it the other way. For example, when you play with a back four for the entire game, and you are trying to defend a 1-goal lead, you don't bring on a defender and switch to a back three because you unsettle the entire defense who've been focused for the 90 minutes. When you have a back four, you have one gap between the two center halves. When you switch to a back three, you have 2 gaps. So it unsettles the entire defense, and we conceded many late goals because of those very specific subs. And when you bring on another player to defend the lead at the end of the game, you put it in midfield so you can cover the cross, not the one-on-ones. So yes, few of his subs have been good and got us points, but so many of the subs are very, very poor.
Not a few. His subs are the best in the league. He's the best in the league at making substitution. And on what you said just there, I do hear you, and I agree with a lot of what you've just said. But I would say that in regards to, it's a hard one, but
it's not a hard one. Because Sean,
no, it's a hard one.
Yeah,
Go on.
Sean, that stat shows that subs were effective. So that by that logic, he should use more.
Well, you've only got a certain amount of subs in the game.
Yeah,
you can only make 3 subs, right? In a game.
All the time, bro.
What I'm saying is, out of all the things you want to criticize Ollie on, and there's many because he's not perfect. We know he's learning the job, right? I'm not here saying that Ollie's a perfect manager, but what I'm saying is, one of the things that he is talking about, and one of the things that people are using to beat him over the head on, is actually one of the things that he's most strong on, is analyzing the game, which he was good. And again, I said this to you, Dom, he was fantastic as a player from the bench, looking at what's going on within the game and looking at what the problems are, coming on as a substitute and exploiting those gaps and scoring goals off the back of that. And he's replicating the same thing as a manager. He's analyzing the game. Often he's made wrong problems, and he brings on substitution, changes to impact the game and get results. That is what he's supposed to do.
Okay, on that point then, bro, I understand what you're saying, Sean, but again, this is a match reaction of this game. Okay, I'm not talking about the other game, this game. I'm looking at what I saw on the pitch. Okay, and if I talk to Manchester United fans, I might be wrong, but I'm sure a large majority will say that the subs today were not good. Do you agree that the subs should have come in earlier today? Yes or no? This game,
now,
Sean.
In this game, okay, so we're looking at the subs in this game. I feel as though...
Yes or no?
No, what I'm going to say to you on this game, it's possible, but I'm saying you can make the subs, right? What subs would you have liked him to have made, Dom? Let me put it to you. What subs would you have liked him to make?
I want them earlier.
So you would want him to make them earlier?
Yeah.
And what impact do you think that would have had?
They have more time to make an impact, bro.
Maybe not.
Yes or no? Were the subs not? Did you think the subs he made were good today in terms of timing? Yes or no?
To be honest with you, some of them were, some of them weren't.
So this is my point, Sean. I'm analysing this game, bro. I'm not talking about over the course of the season.
No, but Dom, you said it all the time. You say it all the time.
Oh, Sean.
You say it all the time.
Look, I'm talking about this game. The subs were too late. Donny van de Beek cannot change the... He might be because he's an amazing player. He's not even a striker, bro. The guy's got 89... Ollie is playing Van de Beek like old Ollie. Ollie was the best super sub, but he was a striker. Ollie's like, you know what, Van de Beek...
So when would you have brought him on?
I see myself in you, Van de Beek. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you 3 minutes, and I want you to prove yourself, brother. You know what I mean?
When would you have brought him on, though?
I would have brought him on about 20, 15 minutes ago.
For who?
The same people he took him off for. Rashford came off.
For Fred. So you would have brought Fred off after 60 minutes.
No, I have no.
And we would have got overrun. I think what you underestimate is You said it yourself. Leeds are a high pressing team, high energy team. The reason these guys didn't start, the reason Pogba's not on the pitch, is because we would have got overrun, bro. We would have got overrun in the midfield.
No, he didn't say that Pogba didn't start because of that. He said Pogba didn't start because we got games coming up.
Which is also true. We do have Roma coming up. Pogba has been out injured. He has played a lot of games. You've got to manage the squad as an entirety. And at the end of the day, why I say you're looking at the negative points is this result, 1-1 at Ellen Road, 0-0 at Ellen Road. It's not a bad result. Man City didn't go there and win. Liverpool didn't go. No one's gone there and won. So why can't we flip that on and say, so Dom, why can't you look at it and say, do you know what? It wasn't a great performance, but at the end of the day, no one else has gone to Leeds. You can't just go there and expect to win. We take the point. We take the point because in the context of the season, and focus on Thursday because that's the main game where we've got to go out and win.
I don't look at football like that. I don't just.
Fair enough. That's how I look at it. No, but that's how I look at it.
We just take the point, mate. We have no choice. We have to take a point, right? Man City can win.
And it's a good point. That's a good point. It's not 2 points lost.
No. Listen. A point is a point, right? A point is a point. You keep talking about other teams, okay? And let me get your thoughts in a second of this, right? Because me and Sean could be doing phrases, right? Like we're in a situation where you're like, okay, other teams have gone there and done it, like, and not done it. It's fantastic. I don't care about other teams. I'm looking at what I saw.
Tom, you're acting like we're the best team in the country right now.
Listen. I'm not Sean. Don't you dare, because you know I think Manchester United are rubbish. I know you fell asleep on my baby. Literally.
But how you're talking?
No. Listen, Sean. I had my baby in my hand. I was giving her milk, and I was like, oh my gosh. I wish I was getting milk. This is boring, right? Honestly. We know Manchester United are rubbish, but looking at the game for 90 minutes, we could have won. And I never normally say that. Because most times Man United don't play very good football, and it's a bit of class. But we saw opportunities to win this. Dan James and Fernandes. If you had Cavani or Van der Beek in that position, I guarantee you something better would have come of it.
Okay, but on that, they might. But if those players, and again, if you changed over Dan James and Bruno, who I agree, they should have absolutely finished those chances, but. Another player might not have made the same movement, so you can't say they would have had those chances. So mate, you can't make that comparison.
When you've got better players on the pitch, you've got better players on the pitch to make a difference.
Yeah, I agree with Sean on that specific topic, because if you replace the players, the very same situation doesn't happen. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, of course.
Everything. Yeah, but just when you look at the starting 11 and you look at the players, you have Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood, Dan James, Bruno, McTominay, and Fred. None of those can hold the ball. None of those are good at holding the ball. So how are you going to move it? Just based on the attributes, not before the game even starts. Looking at the attributes of those players, no one is very good at keeping the ball.
I agree.
So just from that, you would believe that bringing on Pogba and Van de Beek just earlier would make sense. When you come at the 15th minute or 16th minute, you would bring on Pogba and Donny Van de Beek, because you know that you're not getting a hold of that ball, just to move it a bit.
There you go. And better look, for me, right, guys, you talk to me, talk to us. You tell me how you're feeling, because I'm looking at this, right, and I'm thinking to myself, am I like just a woodpecker knocking my head on a freaking tree, hoping something comes out? Because when you've got better players on the pitch, you get better quality. Sean's saying that chance might not have come, but guess what? They probably would have created a completely new chance, right? When you've got better players on the pitch and you've tried out this experiment to play the same team against Leeds, and the first half it's not worked, the first 10 minutes of the second half has not worked, you bring on quality players to do it. Guess what? Every time we've seen Pogba and Bruno play recently, they play better. They enhance each other's game, because guess what? When you play better players with better players, you get better football. So when we see Cavani come on, right, and Van der Beek come on, who are quality players, both better than Dan James or whatever. And Fred, we didn't need him in that game. He broke up the game, but we didn't really need him. You put on the best players at disposal, and you think about Roma after, because this is what don't make sense to me. Ollie's always like, we have to think about the next game. Okay, let's go and win the next game, and after that, we see what we've got left, and then go smash up Roma. It's the biggest oxymoron for me, and I want Ollie to do well, but he's confusing me. Let's get in the comments. Guys, thanks so much for joining live. Theodore, Leeds played better than last game. Dan James fails to be effective. Yes, they did play better, but guess what, Theodore? They changed their strategy. We didn't change ours. It was naive for me. It was really naive. Bucky Vibes, like I said, Ollie made late subs. Yes, Ollie needs a refresher how to play football. Marco.
Come on, Mark. What's going on, man? You normally come better than that. What's going on?
He's obviously got a stagnant stuck in his own mind. Ankit, man. Subs brought on was spot on, 100%. Timing was wrong as usual. There you go. Ankits just were good, 100%. Too late though. Too late. And you know when the whistle blows, you're like, oh, if only they had more time. Well, guess what? You could bring them on earlier if you want. It makes no sense to me. I would have taken off McTominay at halftime and bring on DVB. King Jar, Ollie is playing like a League Two player. Brother, real talk, in my opinion. You know what? Everybody's opinion is justified, man. I swear Sean has got his fishing rod out today. Robbie, you know what? I think he has. I think I've fallen for it, bro. He's catched a massive fish today. I'm 19 stone, bro, 120 kilograms. He's got a biggie in his big boat. Look, we could talk about this all day long, but for me, it is a missed opportunity, and I don't care what anyone says. In my opinion, we missed out on those points because we were not brave enough with our substitutions, with the starting lineup, and in my opinion, Ollie was naive thinking that it'll be the same Leeds that turned up. Whereas, in terms of the whole game was, in honesty, it wasn't amazing. It wasn't like end to end. We didn't think it was going to be, but let's talk about some of the positives. Look, I think AWB and Shaw were unreal this game. AWB gets a lot of heat that he can't run and can't dribble. I saw him beating men for fun. Are we seeing him progress and we're seeing Shaw just become Super Saiyan? What's going on with those two, bro?
Yeah, I feel our fullbacks were our best players today. You see what confidence can do in a player. For example, Luke Shaw, you can just see when he's even in, like, he's boxed in his own corner and he just has that time, that patience, and he's just playing it off and then progressing forward, because that's what confidence does. It gives you that extra second. You don't rush in your mind. You just feel you got time. You feel you're better than your opponent. So you just like toying around him a bit. And Wan-Bissaka, I think he completed 5 out of 6 of his dribbles. So your point of him beating a man,
yeah,
it proves there that you're correct there. And I just think they played fairly well. But the bigger picture for me is, I feel Ollie's just seeing out the season. Apart from European League, where he's going to go out to win it, I feel with the Premier League, he's just riding it out. As long as he's not losing, he don't necessarily have to go for the win. He's just going to get second or third, and he'll be happy. I think that's the wider context regarding why he starts certain teams and certain lineups. For me, he should experiment with the lineup a little more and play Donny van der Beek earlier or start him. But that's up to Ollie, of course. With Sean's point earlier on, I think United have gained 25 points from losing positions, the most in the Premier League. So that shows Ollie's substitutions are making a difference. But for me, they are a little late. And for me, Ollie, he wants to be in the game for as long as possible, as proven today, and then he wants to win it.
Yeah.
That's what I feel sometimes. I feel he can be more courageous, more experimental, especially now when top 4 sealed and we're not going to win the league. I feel he should use other players more, but yeah, that's down to Ollie.
Waz, mate, that was well said, bro, man. That is, you know what, Waz for president, man. Waz for president. You know what, right? I completely agree with that. I feel like that's why me and Ollie get that makes so much sense, because the amount of times I'm talking to Sean when I'm cooking steak at home, right, and we're having just these arguments for ages, and I'm like, Sean, why don't you understand where I'm coming from, brother? Why don't you get me? And Waz was perfectly there. Sean's happy to see out the season and just seeing that the long term Ollie can do it. For me, I look at every game and I want to win. I want to win. Yeah. That's why Sean's happy with a point. I get
wait, Dom. Hold on, clarify that.
Clarify for disclaimer. Sean wants to win every game. He's a made out fan, but he's also content if the game doesn't play out that way and X, Y, Z, he'll take the point. For me, I saw this game and I know we could have beaten him. Even if it's a 1-0, we could have beaten Leeds. There's plenty of games I've seen, guys, when I know we did not deserve those points. And if we got it, it was complete luck. This was not one of those games. The game was there to be had. And even with the players we had on the pitch, Dan James getting in those positions. Look, I'm not just having a go at Dan James. I know his ability. So there's no point even critiquing him. I know his ability. The fact that he's got in those positions up front, that's ridiculous. That just shows you that if we had the right players up there, imagine a player who's used to being up there, what they could do. Dan James should never have been in a box there. Why do you think he's a winger? He's a winger who can't cross. Well, that doesn't make no sense, does it? But he is, apparently. Like, I just need to see us not just see the season out and go for it, because we don't know what's going to happen in Europa League. We got Chelsea. How many points are Chelsea behind us? They're not even that far. Let me get the table up and have a look at this. We've played 33, so we've got 5 games left. Okay, Leicester got 1 more game, so they got 6 games. They are 8 points behind us, and Chelsea are on
11
points. Yeah, so they're 9 points behind us. We can't take our foot off the gas. We can't take our foot off the gas. We need more. And the only thing I can say in a situation is that I'm so happy we've got certain players that continue their form. Adam, how do you feel about... we obviously talk about Luke Shaw all the time and all the different things. But how do you feel about the whole thing of Rashford again? Because obviously Rashford tried to do a P shot, never worked. I always feel like he's playing injured. I feel like Luke Shaw's is always reliable. Lindelof's there. I feel like Greenwood, you can have a hot game, a cold game. What do you think about the players? Is it just the season's over? No one really cares anymore. What's happening, bro?
I don't know. I think it's a difficult one. Well, Rashford, I believe he's injured, but how injured he is, because it's a difficult one. Is he injured or is he not injured? Because if he's injured,
I don't know anymore.
We don't know. That's the thing. Because if he's injured and the manager plays him, but I have a problem with that, because he needs to rest. He really needs to rest, and he was poor. And I feel like it feels to me like Ole doesn't dare bench Marcus Rashford, and when he drops him or when he subs him, it's always the 85th, 87th. Like the game is over, so it's not because you were poor. So. Yeah. I have a problem with that. I really do, because I believe Rashford was very, very poor today. And I believe Rashford has been poor for quite a while. And they are, just like we said on Twitter earlier at halftime, I believe, Dom.
Yeah.
I inserted your tweet. Good and great players, they make the people around them better. That's the main thing for me. Yeah. Good and great players, they make the people around them better. And Marcus Rashford, to me, he is a very good player in himself. His ability is very good. But I don't feel as he improves the rest of the team when he plays. But when Pogba comes in, he's infectious. When Martial plays, the other players, they step up their game as well. They play better. When Matic plays, Bruno plays better, because it's easier he's better at passing the ball. With Marcus Rashford, I don't have that feeling. And to me, it feels like Coutinho at Liverpool. When Coutinho himself is a very, very gifted player, very, very good player. But when he left, Liverpool started playing better. And when Coutinho plays, and he's a fantastic player. I mean, his abilities are very, very, very good. But when Coutinho plays, it doesn't feel as though he improves the squad, the side in which he plays. And I have the same feeling with Marcus Rashford. He is very good himself, but does he improve the team? Does he make his teammates and the squad better? I believe he doesn't. I really believe he doesn't. And coming back to your question, I really don't know if they're just riding the season out on.
I think they are, bro. I think just like Wad said, like Ole's in this situation where we've only got 5 games left, lads. And if we've got 5 games left, and whatever happens, but Roma. I've seen someone on Twitter say, "Oh, so you think the Leeds game's not? You think the Leeds game's a priority? No, the Roma game's a priority." I'm like, wait a minute, where have we got to? Where Manchester United are saying, "Oh, this game's not a priority." What do you mean? What do you mean? Every game, the next game is the most important. I know it's a cliche, but your next game is the most important. If you get an injury, you deal with it. If you get an injury, Harry Maguire plays every game. Every single game. I know he's got a good injury record, but at some point he might get injured, but Ole plays him. You've got to have the same heat for other players. It doesn't make any sense for me. We're trying to win as many games as possible and finish higher. Sean always says to me, yes, if we finish second and we do better than last year and we're close to City, that's progress. Great. But why are we not trying to do that?
We've already done better than last year. We matched last season's total today. We've got 5 games left.
You said to close the gap for me, Sean. You said we need to close the gap.
We already have closed the gap.
But as much as possible, bro. I'm trying to look for excellence here. You're saying
and he is trying. I don't think today. I don't think it's fair to say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer threw away the game today. He picked 95% of his best team. You have to agree that the team that he put out today, with the fit players that are available, right? I don't agree but in all of the big games, this is the team that he's gone with in all the big games.
Bro,
the only change that is debatable is Pogba would have started for Dan James. That's the only change.
Pogba didn't equal 95%, bro. That changed it completely.
No, that is 95% because Pogba. All right, Dom, do the maths. 1 out of 11. What is that as a percentage?
Pogba counts for like 3 players, bro.
Oh, get out of here, man! Because he can be gone. He can be gone next season anyway. So we might as well forget about him. But
sure, mate.
But what I'm saying is, it's not fair to say that because Ollie picked the best team.
No, he
that
didn't.
he picked the best team.
He didn't.
Barring Paul Pogba. In all of the big games, that is a team that Ollie will go with.
Waz, do you think
Barring Paul Pogba?
Whether Ollie thinks it's the best team or whether we think is the best team, it's different for Ollie. For Ollie, he's trying to chase a result, whereas United fans are looking, for example, like a progressive style of play and so on. So it's different. Obviously, with Fred and McTominay, we know that we're going to generally stifle opponents. We're going to hit him on the counter attack. But whereas the United fans, we want to see Pogba inside. We want to see maybe Matic play a little bit more because we know Matic feeds the ball much better than Fred does into our number 10. So I feel our best team does include Pogba, of course, and it does include Cavani as well. And obviously, it's disappointing Martial's not had a great season because I thought he had a very good season last season. But generally, Martial generally will get the team. Obviously, I said Cavani as well, but yeah,
can't be both of them.
Players.
You know what, right? This point, and Cliss, my man Cliss, thank you. I appreciate it, bro. I'm just trying to just talk to Sean here and the boys.
Talk to me.
Sean, we have to use the best players available. Sean, you know when we conceded this game? Do you know when we actually conceded this game?
In your opinion, when was that? Go on, tell me.
Even started. I'm gonna give you a quote, right? Here's a quote. Solskjaer on James replacing Pogba. You have to think about this game, but you also have to think about the run of games we're facing. And Dan James did really get good against Leeds at home. When you can say that, you're basically saying, all right, I'm thinking about this game, but also what about that game? You're not actually thinking, how can I really put all my effort and 100% ability to win this game? That's when you're conceding that you're not thinking. Because Ollie, previous press conferences, Ollie comes out and says, I'm not thinking about that next game. How many times he said that, guys? How many times Ollie goes, oh, no, forget about that game. The most important game's next game. All of a sudden, oh, no. We got to remember there's a game coming up. So I've put out the best team to make sure we got a good team for Thursday. So basically, he's just saying that the Premier League is not that important for him right now, as Waz said, and Europa is the most important. That's what he said.
And Dom, can you? He'd be a fool to prioritize it any other way at this stage. You've already said, and I think several members have already said today, the league's already over, that we should experiment. Waz said we should experiment with the team because the league's already over.
He thinks the league is Ollie thinks the league's over.
No, Waz said, in his opinion, that second place is secured and we should start experimenting with the team. That's what he said. And in the same token, then you cannot then say we need to be going out and Ollie should be going out and playing our best team in this game when we've got the only chance of winning silverware is on Thursday.
So you don't think we can play both?
I'm saying you have to give context to the season. How many games have already played?
You could have played Cavani and Pogba in both games.
I'm saying definitely not Cavani because you know he's going to break down with an injury again if you start playing in consecutive games. It's not worth taking that risk. Mason Greenwood's been on fire, right? And I'm saying that the most important game this run, we need to win silverware. So I'm saying save Cavani for Thursday, have him fresh, get him on the pitch, and let's take Roma to school.
People are acting like we're playing Roma tomorrow. You know, it's Thursday. Yes, it's Sunday today.
How many injuries has Cavani had, Dom, this season?
Wednesday, Thursday. Are you joking? Mate, are you having a laugh?
How many injuries has he had?
If we were playing a game on Tuesday, if we were playing a game on Tuesday, I might actually take what you're saying and be like, cool. Mate, I don't take anything you're saying because we're playing on Thursday, bro. Look, guys in the comments, talk to me. I might be completely wrong, but this is how I feel. We had plenty of time to recover. And if you want to win the game with a few games left, all right, and you get a nice long break in the Bahamas, COVID, if you can go, right? Should he have prioritized the Europa like he did today? Because he came out and said, he's basically said, I prioritized the Europa over it. What was more important, guys? Is the Europa? Should Ollie have prioritized that, or should he have prioritized winning this game? You tell me, Adam. What should the priority have been today?
I think the problem we have with today's game is not the result, but the actual performance. Because like you just said, Thursday, I believe he should be playing his strongest team in both games. And the problem I have with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the coaching. I don't believe tactically he's good enough, and I don't think the way we play is good enough, or consistent at all. But if you take a look at it, today, just like Sean said, you probably Martial and Pogba come in, and that's his strongest team. So I think we can mostly agree on that.
Yeah.
But if you look at the bench today, I believe the bench quality-wise was probably better than the team on the pitch, because we had Matic, we had Donny van de Beek, we had Pogba, we had Cavani, we had many good quality. Maybe not better, I believe it is, but we have very, very good quality players on the bench. So if we had a sustainable way of playing, a really good coaching staff, he could play two separate teams, and the style and the performance would be almost the same, lacking minus the edge of quality that maybe the first team brings. So, for example, I like my plan B to be plan A with different players. I like, for example, I'm resting Fernandinho, David Silva, and De Bruyne. I'm bringing in Bernardo Silva, I don't know, Rodri, and whoever else, and Foden in midfield.
We can't do
the same thing. It's not the same level of quality. There's a gap of quality, and we don't have the players maybe to do that. And but at least it should remain the same pattern. So we should be playing the strongest teams today and on Thursday in Europa League. And in both games, we should see at least something very, very similar. And we are not seeing anything consistent at all.
Yeah, that's my problem. Look, I know that people, it depends what people want. People might just want top four, so they're thinking, don't play your best players, same for Europe, even though they're playing Thursday. It's like basically a week off, whatever. But it's for me, we approach each game and take it as it is. If we want to win the game, you win the game. We're not good enough to be doing all this. We've seen it. We're not good enough to be playing players that we know are of the quality of Manchester United. We know Dan James is not good enough. We know that for a fact. So put in Cavani, put in Pogba. Pogba would happily play every game. If he gets injured, that's a risk that happens with every single player. But you do it. The amount of times Ollie was like, I'm not having a go at Ollie here. I'm just talking about the game. He's the manager. The amount of times that he could have taken Fred off. Remember when Fred was in the yellow card and we knew he was going to get another one and he got a red card? That's on the manager. So you have to anticipate, right, and think, okay, we got a game on Thursday. The first half, nothing's happened. The 10 minutes of the second half, nothing's really happened. I know I'm trying to rest Cavani and Pogba, but an extra half an hour and then 4 days rest, I think they'll be all right. No. Let's wait until the 80th minute and bring on Cavani. Let's wait on the 88th minute and bring Van de Beek, whose sole purpose in life, when he came out of the womb, was to be in the box and score goals. That's his purpose. His mum knows it. His dad knows it. Everyone knows it. He is a predator in the box. But we give him 3 minutes. It makes no sense to me. When I look at football, I want football to be played to the end whistle and to give everything you've got. I just don't like that we came here and prioritize the Europa League over this win, because we do not know what's going to happen in the last 5 games. If we come back here on some match reactions with the boys here, and we're going, oh gosh, we're now going to finish 4th. I don't want to hear nothing from you, Sean. I don't want to hear nothing from you. Bro,
Tom, you've been saying this. You've been saying this for the longest, though. I remember. Well, how are we going back 2-3 months ago now? And you were like, bro, we're in second, but I think the gap at that point was like 1 point with Leicester, and we were level with Leicester. And you were like, bro, man, it's not over yet. Leicester can overtake us, man. We're going to drop out. And I said to you, Dom, we've lost 1 game in the last. At that point, I can't remember how many it was. I was 24. Yeah. And do you think we're realistically going to lose another 3 or 4 games in that same period of time? It will take a colossal drop-off. The stats are not there to back it up. We lost 1 game in a year. We're still in that position, Dom. We haven't lost since. And we're 3 months down the road, and the gap has increased. So, come on, have some faith, have some positivity. Look at what Ollie's achieved. We haven't lost an away game in now 24. Only one other team has done that in the history of football. Arsenal's Invincibles. Right, that's a team. The Invincibles, one of the best teams to ever play the Premier League.
They won the league.
Look at that. So Dom, exactly. So come on, bro. Like, come on.
Sean, let's
have some context. We don't need to over dramatize this result today. We don't need to do that.
You're one of those people, right? If you go to a state restaurant, right, you order it, you say, I want medium well. It comes out medium burnt, and you're like, yeah, I'll keep it.
No, and I'm sending it straight back. Anyone that's been out to a restaurant with me, anyone that's been out to a restaurant with me, they'll know that.
I'll keep it. We're in second place. Place. He's got a vision. Mate.
That's not a fact.
I don't like the way that we gave these points up, and I'm never going to apologize for that. Yeah. I'm happy that we got a point. Not really, but I'll take the point. But
You're not happy. Stop lying.
Why would you ever be content with getting a point? Who's content with getting a point?
The season is not 1 game.
Yeah, no, I get that. But when the game played it out as it did today, I'll be completely different if we didn't deserve it. But I feel like we had the impotence and the opportunity to do it. I don't like how the expectations have gone down so much.
Yeah.
And I know.
So why are you not going on Bruno for not finishing that chance? Why are you not going on the individuals? Why are you looking at the manager and saying, forget that, because the players that were on the pitch had enough chances to finish the game off?
Yeah, but if you have good quality players and they're all playing well, they're all playing badly, you have a problem with the coaching. Because
no, that chance Bruno had in the box when it was cut back to him from Aaron Wan-Bissaka doing a lovely bit of dribbling, great skill, cuts it back. He's got to score that. That's basic.
That of course.
So that has nothing to do with the manager.
I know, I get that, Sean, but that's just one chance of Bruno, bro. When you got better players on the pitch, there's more chances. We had, I think, after 60 minutes, bro, we had 12 attempts and 2 on target. All right, and I'm sorry, if you have better quality players on there, you're probably gonna have more shots on target of those 12 attempts and probably more attempts. Do you know what I'm saying? You love stats.
Fair.
That's a stat for you. What are you gonna say about that?
So, all right, then, this is what I'm going to say, right? That's fair enough. And it's possible you could bring on Pogba and Cavani for longer. You get more chances. Donny van de Beek, fair enough. And that's that. I can't disagree with you. But what I would say to that is, let me paint a different picture. Say you start those players. You start Donny, you start Cavani, you start, forget Donny, actually, because he's not that important. But Cavani and Bruno, Cavani and Pogba, right? These are important players for us. Say you start them, right? And we beat Leeds 1-0, and Cavani scores assist from Pogba. But then they both get injured, 66 minutes, right? And they both have to come off. And now we've got Roma, right? We've beaten Leeds, whoop-de-doo-dah. We're now only 9 points behind City. Still no chance of winning the league, by the way. Still, it doesn't affect the way our season's going to pan out. But now, for the only chance we've got going into Thursday, we've got no Pogba, no Cavani. Are you going to be sitting here saying, yes, well done, we beat Leeds? Okay. No, right. You're gonna come back and say, for goodness sake, why did you play those players? We didn't need to play them. It doesn't impact our season. So you can't have it both ways.
Thanks for your analogy. I appreciate that. That's fantastic. Let me give you another side of it. Imagine we did play Pogba and Cavani at the beginning, right? And we beat Leeds 2-0 and they didn't get injured. And then we play against Roma. What would that be like, bro?
It's not, but it's risk reward. And I'm saying that the reward of winning against Leeds was not worth the risk of them being out for the next game. And I feel like, which is the only chance.
They can get injured tomorrow in training. You can't just do these.
Exactly. And do you know Rashford didn't train all week? So he could be fit for the game.
Is that you play the best players in the game to try and win the game, and that's
not when you've got a semi-final coming up on Thursday.
Mate,
and you've got old man Cavani who can't stay fit, he's brittle, and a Pogba who has been out from a long-term injury. We can't afford to risk that. I'm sorry.
Anyway, guys,
the problem is deeper than that.
It is
because we never play well. We could have played the strongest team, and we still could have been very poor because from the coach. I'm very much on the coaching staff thing because we don't play well. Let's suppose this is something my father always tells me. Let's suppose we have Manchester United against Leeds, but the players are playing on the beach. No coach, no manager, no stadium. They're just playing between them. We smashed them 5-0 because of the players we have. Because we just have better players.
Yeah.
So if we just play casually on the beach, we beat them because we have more souls, more quality, more talent in our team than in theirs. But then again, we never see that clicking. It is in moments of quality, moments of Marcus Rashford doing a thing and Mason doing a thing, or Pogba. We are not consistent. So maybe we could have started the strongest team, Sean, and maybe it could have been still 0-0. But I believe we have had the problem since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took the full-time job. I don't believe he's good enough to coach this team to make it a coherent unit.
Yeah, I agree. Adam. You know what that comes down to on this point as well? Ole's come out last week and essentially said he knows he's not a good coach. He knows that's not his strongest part of his game. He came out and said it.
Yeah. What did he say?
Did you not read it?
No, I haven't seen it. What's the quote?
Bro. He basically came out and said that we all know basically that coaching is not my strength. My strength comes in man management, and I leave the coaching to McKenna, Carrick, and another guy, I can't remember his name. He came out and said, I'm not a coach.
That's fair enough.
What that brings to me and instills in me is that next season, we've got Carrick, McKenna, and some other dude, I can't remember his name. someone tell me in the comments, you might know it was some other random name. They're going to be our coaching system when we get better players. And Ollie said his game is, he's basically an agent, like a movie agent. He's the one that's like, I'm going to get you the best gig, and now you go and freaking act. I've got you the gig, you do the acting. For me, fine, you can get managers that don't do coaching, fantastic. But guess what? Normally the coaching system is elite. And at Manchester United, you have the best coaches. Carrick's on his apprenticeship, all right? He's still on his apprenticeship, okay? I don't think I've ever heard him say a word. You got I'm about to say Phil Jones probably going to turn up being a freaking coach soon. You got Phelan and McKenna. They're not good enough. I have no confidence that next season when we get better players, the football's going to be better. I've got no confidence in that, because it doesn't matter if you start to get a nice new window and a nice new car. Guess what? It might break down if it's not flicking tuned up properly. And that's my problem. That's my problem.
Because that's the thing with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. As a person, he's very likable, but he acts like he's Sir Alex too often for me. Sir Alex did that, but Sir Alex had very, very good people, and he was very good at delegating. And Sir Alex was basically the best DOF ever. He knew how to spot talent. He knew how to judge character. He knew how to, this guy has it, this one maybe not, this coaching.
Yeah.
He knew how to change his maybe Ole is not as good as Sir Alex, and that's okay. That's okay. And we live in an era of football in which tactics are so important.
Yeah,
so important.
Yeah, sure. So what do you think about that, bro? Because you've never heard that. What do you think about that? Ollie's come out and said, I know I'm not a good coach. I've got the coaches for it. I'm a better manager. How do you feel about that, bro? I know you've got a T-shirt with I Love Ollie on it. Not saying that I don't respect. I respect Ollie as our manager. As long as he's here, I respect him. I personally don't think he's good enough to take us to the helm. I'm not Ollie out. I'm not Illy in. I'm just saying I don't think he's good enough to take us to the helm. But while he's here, look, we just got to hope for the best. But how do you feel? I know you got.
So
Ollie
I hadn't read those specific quotes that you've talked about, but Ollie has said before he doesn't do the coaching, and basically the statements that he's just said last week, what you've just quoted, it kind of makes sense. Then if you're not a good, and when he's saying I'm not a good coach and that's not my strength, then it makes sense. If that's not your strength, why would you do the coaching? His strength is managing the team, inspirational, managing the dynamics, managing players, which is a very important part of being a manager. So for me, he's doing exactly what he should be doing, is playing to his strengths and delegating the other tasks out, which then shifts the focus to the coaching. If we are all in agreement to say, well, hang on a minute, the style of football is not what some fans want.
Yep.
They feel that we should be playing more cohesive structure, with more football that's more pleasing on the eye, which, you know, some fans want that. We can't dispute that. But then you have to look at, you can't blame Ollie for that, because that's not his strength. That's not his job.
But
his job.
He can say, I want a coach. I want a better coach.
How do you know he hasn't said that?
What? Oh,
you don't know he hasn't. You don't know, Dom. You don't know. Dom, you don't know.
Happy with what they bring. He said that he's very happy with Carrick.
So what do you want him to do? To come out and be a Jose Mourinho and start slagging off his own team members?
Sure, but they could leave without us knowing.
Sure, come on. You
know,
have
really to say them in public, because he said that he's very happy with McKenna and Carrick and that they are bringing very, very new and good ideas, and that he's happy with the job they do. And I fully agree with Sean that I don't want another Jose Mourinho insulting people and just disrespecting the entire institution. As you said, I don't like Jose. But there's a way that they could go and they could leave, and we could bring in other people, and it could be like best chance and good best of luck, and that's it, and that would be fine.
Yeah, that's true.
But for me, not recognizing incompetence is being incompetent.
I agree with that. So what I would say is that we know that McKenna was very highly regarded within the club, and he's young. I think he's still in his early 30s from when he was coaching the within the youth setup and reserves. So he's very highly regarded. We know Carrick. We don't really know what he's doing. You can look at and hear the players. So Pogba's spoken about it, working with Michael Carrick and what he's doing. You can only take that feedback because we're not there watching. But Pogba's spoken very highly of him. Bruno's spoken very highly of Carrick. And at the end of the day, he had, as a player, he was very experienced. So Carrick, you could say we don't know what he's doing. But ultimately, if we want the elite coaches, that's a separate conversation. We might have to look at can we get some more coaches in? But in terms of what Ollie's good at and what his strengths are, he is doing his job, and he's doing it very, very well.
All I'm saying right now, in this situation, the longevity of Ollie's reign is not going to be long enough until if he doesn't get coaches, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't matter if you get an extension, the results won't follow. Because I'll tell you right now, Sean, Man City, Chelsea, even Arsenal. Nah, not Arsenal. Forget them. Let's talk about someone else.
Yes,
Man City, Chelsea, Tottenham. Maybe not. Okay, Man City and Chelsea.
You're reaching now.
They will get stronger, right? And our aim is not top 4, not second. You don't get a prize for being second. Unless you're really young and you're in like a relay race, everybody's a winner. Everybody's a winner. But in the Premier League, right, so you don't get anything for being second. You don't get anything for second, right? So we need to be going for the Premier League. Man City going to get stronger. Chelsea going to get stronger, and whoever else. We cannot fall behind. And if you just think buying a Jadon Sancho, getting an Ndidi, and thinking they're going to change our complete team without a style and a proper system that looks better in the eye, that's effective. We see more 1-2s like we saw today with Bruno and Greenwood. That was the first 1-2 I think I saw in that 2 years, and it just cut through their defense. I'm not seeing enough of that. It's not going to work long term. It's not going to work.
And I believe Thomas Tuchel is the perfect example. He didn't buy any players, but they are looking so more coherent, so much better. Maybe they are lacking the cutting edge, maybe they don't have the final quality, but they are so much better. So defensively, they are very sound, and they are playing in a way that makes sense, that you can see them repeat regardless of who starts. They are implementing.
And guess what, Adam? Why is that? Because Tuchel,
I believe Thomas Tuchel is a coach. Very good coach.
Because he's a coach. He's a coach. He came out and said, "Oh, you spent about 10 minutes on defending." Because guess what? It's a team game. The whole team defense, whole team defense as a unit. Lord have mercy. I would love to see if we could borrow Tuchel or a coach just for like a month or so, and he goes back to his team and see what the team play like.
Dom, so you're saying the way Chelsea are playing right now, they've only scored more than 2 goals in one game since he took over. I think that's correct. You'd rather us be playing like that than how we play at the moment.
You're getting something, Sean. When you get a new coach in, they don't just play the same football wherever they go. They look at the team and the players they've got and see the best thing for the team. That's why he thought, with the players I've got, it's probably better to play wing backs and full backs. He's played different. He didn't play the same at PSG.
You didn't answer my question though, Dom.
What?
I said, would you rather us be playing that kind of football than what we're playing right now?
That kind of football.
I would, yeah. Personally, I would 10 times out of 10.
What are you saying, Wes?
Because the biggest problem I've got with Manchester United is the sustainability of our football. Like I said, we've won 25 points from coming back. You're not always going to come back in games, so that's an issue and a concern there. And a lot of our away record. If you remember when we played Brighton away, we were fortunate not to lose that game when Solly March hit the bar. West Ham away when Pogba came on and scored that goal. And West Ham missed like a couple of chances in the first half with Bowen and so on. So a lot of our away results, even though it looks good on paper, a lot of it we got away with it at times. So that record could have got shut down a long time ago. The sustainability is my biggest issue. Obviously, throughout the season, as Dom has seen me, I've talked about the football. I've talked about the football. But now, because we're in the last 5 to 10 games, I'm just focused on the results now.
Yes,
I want us to win the Europa League. But obviously, as a fan, looking at the bigger picture, I am concerned about the football. And with Tuchel, for me, the way they've played, he's looked at what he's got. He said he wants to get Azpilicueta in the team. For him to get Azpilicueta in the team, he's got to play him right of back three. And then obviously he's got the experience of Thiago Silva, Rudiger, and he's got natural wing backs in Chilwell and James. So that's the way he's playing. And he's also brought Jorginho back in the team to keep possession much better and so on. We know as fans already that if we look at Chelsea and they get a prolific striker, we know they're going to be dangerous next season. Even if they have Werner on the left, Werner is like, say, a slightly worse version of Rashford.
Absolutely.
He'll get in behind. He'll still create. He's still got some decent assists in recent times. He got one the other week in the Cup against City, was it? And so you just see the elements of their team come together. So you can just put little, say they get a Haaland up front, and they get maybe a left-footed left centre back to progress out the back three. So then it comes together, doesn't it? Whereas United, you don't know if the signing of, for example, Ndidi and Sancho will change the dynamics, or will it just mask over our performances? So I agree. It's interesting what you say. So I agree with a lot of it.
Yes.
And what you said, but I feel like that last bit is where it becomes a little tiny bit disingenuous, because fair enough, if Chelsea bring in Haaland and a left-sided centre back, that it's gonna improve their game, and you say you know that for sure. And I guess you're basing that on the fact that you feel they've got a system that's coherent, and a style of football, and they're just missing those final pieces. I feel that it's more a case of difference in style, because yes, that's Tuchel's style of management, that's Tuchel's style of coaching, and it's system based. We know that in the final third, Ollie's style is not that. It's more of a giving the players a bit more creative freedom. But equally, to say if you've got better players in that system, like we were saying, it's the same example. It's more of a macro version of the micro version that we were talking about today with the Leeds game. If you've got better players on the pitch, you're going to produce better quality and you're going to produce better outcomes. So I'm saying it all depends on the signings that we make, and it all depends on the signings that Chelsea make. And the sustainability side of it, and there's the fine margins in football. Football is a game of that. But again, the more good players that you've got, the more chances you give yourself to have those fine margins in your favor. No one says that when Messi comes out and dribbles round five players and scores in the last minute. No one comes out and says, "Oh, that's it." Barcelona are relying on Messi's individual brilliance, but really they've been doing that for the last 10 years because they've got the best players, and that's what good players do. They can come up with moments of magic, and that's what they're supposed to do. So when people say about sustainability, I'm like, haven't we been saying that since the start of the season when we were producing comebacks every week? We can't keep doing this. We can't keep doing this. We can't keep doing this. It's going to catch up with us. But it hasn't caught up with us yet. You know why? Because that is what good players do. So
maybe it will. Maybe it will catch up.
Maybe it won't.
But mate, it's more looking like it will. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Turn notifications on. I appreciate you as always. To the guests, been unreal. Adam, Waz, Sean, I appreciate you. We come back for a huge game against Roma, first leg. And you know what? Who knows what's going to happen? But at this rate, we shouldn't play any of our best players, according to Sean, and we should just believe what happens. I'm joking. Guys, I appreciate you so much. Have a great evening. And I don't know who do you want to win the Carabao Cup? Just quickly.
I don't know what score we on now? Has anyone checked?
I think it's 0-0 still. But who do you want to win?
Come on, Spurs.
Spurs, right?
The moment the treble was not on, I think, and now that Jose is gone, I want Spurs to win.
Ryan Mason to win a trophy in his second game.
Wait a minute. He'll be more successful than Ollie. That ain't right.
All right, I'm out of here. That's the time to sign off.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Have a great evening. Peace out.
Nice one, guys. Big up, everyone.
Hey guys.
Bye.